tiny girl named Thumbelina. Once upon a time, there lived a kind and lonely woman named Alara. More than anything in the world, she wished for a tiny child to love. One afternoon, a wise woman gave her a single, magic barleycorn. "Plant this in a flower pot," she said with a knowing smile, "and you will have your wish." Alara planted the seed with the greatest of care. She watered it every morning and sang to it every evening. Almost at once, a magnificent plant began to grow, and soon it formed a large, beautiful bud, much like a tulip, with its petals held tightly closed. "Oh, what a beautiful flower," Alara whispered, her heart filled with hope. She leaned forward and gently kissed its soft crimson petals. As if by magic, the moment her lips touched the flower, it bloomed open with a soft, musical pop. And there, sitting on the soft green stamen in the center of the flower, was a tiny, perfect girl. She was graceful and lovely, and no bigger than Alara's thumb. Because she was so small, Alara decided to call her Thumbelina. Alara loved Thumbelina with all her heart. She made her a tiny, cozy bed from a polished walnut shell. The mattress was made of soft blue-violet petals, and a single, fragrant rose petal served as her warm blanket. During the day, Thumbelina's world was full of adventure. Her favorite game was to sail across a shallow bowl of water on a large, floating tulip petal. She used 2 white horsehairs from Alara's sewing box as oars to row her little boat from one side to the other. But one night, as Thumbelina slept peacefully in her walnut shell bed, a great, ugly toad named Grumpo hopped through an open window. "Croak, my, he grumbled in a gravelly voice. "What a perfect little wife for my son." Before Thumbelina could even stir from her sweet dreams, the horrid toad snatched the walnut shell in his wide mouth. With a clumsy hop, he jumped from the windowsill and disappeared into the dark, damp garden. He carried her all the way to a wide, muddy stream in the marsh. He placed the walnut shell on the broadest, greenest lily pad, far from the bank. "There," he croaked to himself, "she cannot escape from here." When Thumbelina awoke, she was all alone on the wobbly green leaf. She saw the wide, dark water all around her, and the strange, tall reeds. She was so very frightened and lonely, and she began to cry bitter tears. The little minnows swimming in the water below heard her sad sobs. They poked their heads above the water and felt very sorry for the sweet little girl. "She is too lovely to marry a toad," they whispered to each other. "We must help her." In a flash, the fish swam down to the thick green stem that anchored the lily pad to the stream bed. All together they nibbled and gnawed with their little teeth until, with a sudden snap, the stem broke free. A beautiful white butterfly fluttered by and saw the tiny girl on her strange green boat. Thumbelina had an idea. She untied the sash from her waist and looped one end around the butterfly. The other she tied to her leaf, and the butterfly gently pulled her swiftly down the stream. All summer long, Thumbelina drifted happily, but soon the sun grew weaker and the air grew cold. The leaves on the trees turned to gold and red. The butterfly flew away to warmer lands, and Thumbelina was left all alone and shivering. Shivering and hungry, she stumbled through a harvested cornfield until she came to a small, neat door under the roots of a great oak tree. It was the home of a kind old field mouse, Mrs. Squeakerton. "You poor dear child, come in at once out of the cold," squeaked Mrs. Squeakerton. She led Thumbelina inside her cozy home and gave her a single grain of barley for supper, which was a whole feast for someone so small. "You can stay with me all winter," the kind mouse said, "if you will help keep my house tidy and tell me stories. Our neighbor, Mr. Diggle the Mole, may visit. He is very wealthy and lives in a grand tunnel. He would make a fine husband for you." One day, while sweeping the dark tunnel that connected the mouse's house to the mole's, Thumbelina found a poor swallow lying still and cold on the earthen floor. His beautiful wings were limp, and he looked as if he were frozen solid. Thumbelina's heart ached for the beautiful bird. Though she was cold herself, she spent hours weaving a warm blanket of hay and soft feathers, and gently covered him. She brought him drops of water on a leaf, and whispered comforting words through the long, dark night. Her gentle care worked a miracle. The swallow, who was not dead, but only numb with cold, slowly opened his eyes. He felt the warmth of the blanket and saw the tiny girl beside him. "Thank you, little one," he chirped weakly. "You have saved my life." The swallow's name was Sky.